My name is Renee Echols. I live in Ypsilanti, Michigan, Washtenaw County. I have a master's in social work. I am here working at the Center for Independent Living in Ann Arbor. I'm totally blind. I have 2 young children. I have a guide dog from the Seeing Eye, which is located in New Jersey. And I enjoy politics. I'm involved in my local city government on 2 different city committees and commissions. So that's me. Inclusion means the opportunity to fully participate in activities and services for any person, regardless of their ability or disability. Well, in our country, we have a very fragmented system. So, we have a federal system, we have a state system, and then we have a local system. And each of those divisions have various powers. And, our local and state government is really important because, locally, our city municipalities are what control our streets, our public safety, and our utilities, all, and sometimes even our housing, all of those things, and those are really key components of community and inclusion. And so, I was interested in that as a result of having to, as a blind person, having to navigate my my environment every day. And so having a voice in local government, in terms of just, this sidewalk is not accessible for me. Um, and it's the city that funds and governs those issues. And so on the ground, really, your local and state government is who needs to hear your voice in terms of how included you are in your environment immediately surrounding you. I think a lot of it has to do with funding. So, um, one of the issues that I um, frequently run up against is cost. So, for example, I've been advocating for quite a while in my local government, city government, on improving pedestrian accessibility, which is really important for folks who can't drive. And so, one of the things that I'll just give an example that is important for people with low vision or who are blind can be audio traffic signals, um, particularly at problematic intersections. And these, cost money, obviously, to install, but there's often a lack of funds in local government to provide these really key safety features that make just getting around easier for disabled folks. And so, when thinking about inclusion, a lot of it comes down to where are we putting our money to provide the best services for and accessibility for all people, including disabled people, so that they have the opportunity to participate in their communities. So looking at funding, um, looking at where we're putting our funding in terms of employment training. So not just the training that people need, but the employment services. So, for example, job coaching, all of those things that disabled folks need to fully participate and have the opportunities that other people have. And so that's the really big issue to me, is the funding. I would say that being silent doesn't help anyone. And I think that there are multiple factors here. I think for us as disabled people, I think most of us have experienced lifelong oppressions and traumas as a result of having a disability because of the way we've been treated. And so we experience more challenges in terms of finding the resiliency to speak up. And so I think that there's always that fear that comes in when speaking up because we've been ignored so often. And I guess what I would say is to acknowledge that anxiety and those traumas that contribute to an internalized oppression, but that we have to overcome that in order to have our voices heard, and that policymakers and lawmakers are not going to act on our concerns for inclusion if we don't speak up and articulate what is preventing us from fully participating in society. So articulating it, having a voice is so important because we can't have a seat at the table if we don't participate and speak up in the dialogue, in the public discourse surrounding inclusion.